Hi everybody, I'm here to answer the question that's probably bothering you. How do I get a great tenant fast? I made these videos to help you with this. My name's Bruce Roth, I'm the broker of HelpYouRent.biz, and you can reach me either at bruce@bruceroth.com or 818-921-0150 with any questions that you have. Hi everybody, this is a continuation of my series on videos of how to get a great tenant fast. So now that you've already fixed up the property, gotten it ready to see, you've shown it to the right people, you have a tenant who wants to rent it from you, you've done a background check on them, they're ready to go, you need to write the contract. And you need to make sure that there's some certain things in the contract. This is a pretty good list I'm giving, but there's a few other things that you might want to call me and ask about if you're concerned. First thing that has to be in the contract is the name and the contact information of the landlord and the tenant. You're also going to want to have the name of any other occupants. For instance, if there's children, they're not really tenants, but they are occupants, you need to list them. That way, if the tenant has anybody move into the property who's not really supposed to be there, the terms of the agreement should allow you to kick them out for doing that. You should have the address of the property, specifically the whole address. The reason that you need to have all the information of the name and contact information is so that you can give them notice, or they can give you notice for anything legal, like you're evicting them or they are giving you notice of their intent to vacate the property. Everybody has to have all the information. I use email addresses and fax numbers whenever I can get them as well. So the address of the property has to be in the contract, how much the rent is, what the due date of the rent is, what happens if they're late, is there a penalty, and if so, how much, when does it accrue. You need to also have the term of the agreement. Is it a month-to-month? Is it a one-year lease that becomes month-to-month, or only renewable yearly leases? Different landlords have their preferences. My preference is minimum one-year lease with a month-to-month thereafter. And you have to specify exactly how much the deposit is and what happens when they vacate the property. Like I said in an earlier video, once they vacate, you only have 15 days to give them their deposit back. You also need to specify the use of the property. If it's a residential property, you don't want them to be able to hold a business in the property. If it's a business, you probably don't want them living there. So you need to specify the use of the property. If there's parking or storage included or not, that should be specified. Who pays what utilities? For instance, some landlords on residential properties these days, I think smart landlords pay the water bill. That way the tenants water the lawn. If you make the tenant pay the water bill, there's a good chance that when you get back to the property when they're ready to vacate, you're going to have a dead lawn, because people don't want to pay the water bill to maintain the lawn if they're only going to live there for 4 more months or whatever's left in the lease agreement. So you need to specify all that in the agreement, whatever it's going to be. You need to talk about the condition of the premises, when they take occupancy and then when they give occupancy up, and what happens if there's some damage to the property. The way I like to write it is I give them 3 days after they take occupancy, and then they have to provide me, and I'm an agent, so they provide me and the landlord a detailed list, I hope with digital photographs, of any defects in the property. That way they don't get dinged when they move out. Who's going to pay for maintenance if anything needs to be done? Any special conditions? Normally the landlord pays for maintenance, so you have to specify that, and you also specify who pays for a gardener. If they're allowed pets, or if not, you need to specify that. Some people, even these days, I find this a little bit harsh, won't allow smoking in their properties. So if that's the case, you need to specify it in the agreement, otherwise it's not binding. There are other terms. You can call me and write me. So now you have the contract written. There are other terms to the agreement. If you have questions about what they are, you can call me or write me. So now that you have the contract written, next you need to sign the contract. The way I make them do it is I make them give me 2 cashier's checks when they sign the agreement. if you're the owner of the property, you're probably going to only ask for one. The reason I ask for two is I make them give me one for my commission, which I deduct from the amount of their first month's rent and deposit, and then I have them make the other check for the remainder out to the landlord. You may have them make out one, but I always insist on cashier's checks. I don't like walking around with thousands of dollars of cash, and I'm not going to give occupancy to someone who on a personal check. That's just me. So then, once you have the money, you have the contract signed, you've signed it, you give them occupancy. That's it. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call me. There's another video on what the terms are under which I will rent your property for you. My name's Bruce Roth. My phone number is 818-921-0150, and my email is bruce@bruceroth.com. Thanks, and I hope your property rents quickly.